Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Olivier, and in here you're going to find some content about mindfulness and meditation. And so if you have found your way to this video, it's probably because you have encountered some challenges in your life and found out that meditation or mindfulness was helpful. It's definitely has been the case for me, but also um, I haven't been able to fully transform my worry about the future, and sometimes I experience anxiety or anger or dissatisfaction in my life. And so I have found that meditation was kind of incomplete in my tool set, you know, to find my way to more resilience, more happiness, more inner freedom or inner peace. And so this has pushed me to look a little bit further. And what I have understood better is that meditation is a tool, not the whole solution. It is a step, not the whole solution to this journey to inner freedom. And this is what I want to talk about in today's video. It is to share with you the overall journey or the blueprint, to that path. If you want, meditation is like a tool when you want to build a house, right? But to build a house, you need other elements. You need like a blueprint, right? A plan, but you also need materials with which you're going to work with those tools, right? So it's an oversimplified, explanation of where meditation falls into, but it's just to say that although essential, um, it is not the whole solution, and it is part of the solution. A quick disclaimer before is that the content of this channel and what I will share um, have its roots in Buddhism, right? And to me, as I have shared before, Buddhism is not a faith in a God, and it's not about prayer. It is a collection of teachings and practices that helps us to look at ourselves, at our experience, at reality with more clarity, to go beyond what is obvious so that we can have a better understanding of ourselves and of reality, and so that we can, better navigate, life events and find a way to this sense of calm and inner peace that I think we are all, searching for, a sense of contentment and happiness, whatever that means. So, disclaimer, most of the content is going to be rooted in Buddhism. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, I challenge you to take those teachings, take those practices and reflect on them, apply them, and see if they are true for you. If they're not true, no problem, look somewhere else. But so far, I have found them to be very insightful and very true and very helpful. So let's get started with today's teaching. As I have mentioned earlier, today's content is about the blueprint, right, of that path to the end of suffering or dissatisfaction, to that inner peace. And this blueprint is called the Four Noble Truths, and it was the first teaching that the Buddha offered after being enlightened. So just a word about the Buddha. Maybe you have this idea that he was a god, but the Buddha was a human being. He was a man who was very perseverant in his search to find a way out of human suffering, to help himself and help others. And this Four Noble Truths is the first teaching that he offered because it is the most important teaching. And everything else that we share on this channel and that he shared, derives from those Four Noble Truths. Okay, so it is the most important teaching. This is the top, So what does those Four Noble Truths say? The first Noble Truth says that suffering or dissatisfaction is ever present in our life, even if in moments of what we perceive as pleasant. So, for example, you know, suffering manifests in so many aspects, like, of course, physical pain is suffering, but also we experience mental suffering, right? Anxiety about the future, fear, anger. Those are types of suffering. When we lose somebody that we love, maybe a pet, maybe a friend or a family member, we lose something that an object that we cherish. Right? Those is also suffering, and everybody, regardless of status, wealth, experience this suffering. So there's a sense of there's a universal component in suffering. And for example, another example of suffering is relationship, right? We'll often see relationship as a source of lasting happiness. And so we are dissatisfied until we are in a relationship. And then once we are in the relationship that we wanted so dearly, we realize that it is not what it was supposed to be. Maybe because we changed, maybe because our partner changed, maybe because the circumstances around us changed. And so what we thought was going to bring us lasting happiness ends up not being it. Or maybe it is for a moment, but then it changes, right? And maybe the relationship is harmonious, but at the end, as we grow older, somebody will die first, right? And so we will experience grief. So it is often, and we will see always a case where what we think is going to bring us happiness is going to be temporary, it's going to be impermanent. And in the end, we will become dissatisfied. So even into things that we think will bring us happiness, we will end up being dissatisfied in some ways. Right? So that is the first noble truth. The first noble truth is that satisfaction or suffering is ever present in our life. The second truth says that the causes of our suffering is our craving and our attachment. So again, for example, relationship, we crave for this relationship. So we feel dissatisfied until we have found a partner, for example. This is craving, and this is attachment as well, because we tell ourselves, I will not be happy until I am in a relationship. A lot of we as a species, we crave and we are attached, generally to fame, wealth, power, sensual pleasures, right? Food, sex, and so forth. And maybe you don't identify yourself, craving those things, but maybe you tell yourself, oh, I wish I had a nicer kitchen. I wish I would live somewhere else. I wish I had a bigger home. I wish I was younger. I wish I had more hair. I wish I was fitter. Those are all sorts of cravings, right? And it may be very subtle, but we unconsciously tell ourselves, oh, I'd be happier, if this was like this, if that was like that, and so forth. Right? So those craving attachments is the cause of our suffering. Maybe it's not about having something. Maybe it's about having a situation being, in a specific way. I'd be happier if I had another job. I'd be happier if I had a promotion. I'd be happier if the deadline was not tomorrow, but next week, and so on. And if we only have just two truths, that would be pretty depressing and bleak, right? I would not be making these videos, you know. And so the Buddha offered the third noble truth that says that having a flexible mind, being open, the inner peace, the inner happiness is possible. This is a reminder that just like suffering exists, letting go, for suffering is very much possible, right? So happiness is possible by letting go of our craving and letting go of our attachments. And this is the third noble truth, right? Happiness is possible by letting go of our craving and attachments. And the fourth noble truth is, how do we go about that? What are the steps that can lead us to letting go? And all of those noble truths and those steps will be detailed in future videos. We will take the time to learn about them in details, to reflect on them, to meditate on them, because we want to internalize, those teachings, those insights. We're going to, learning about something is different from experiencing, right? So we're going to learn about joy, we learn about gratitude, but it's different from experiencing joy, experiencing gratitude. So just to give you a brief overview of those steps, because now you may be interested in what are the steps if they are leading us to peace. Those steps are called the Noble Eightfold Path. It's 8 little steps that we apply into our daily life that will lead us to that. And again, you don't have to believe anything. You can take the content of those videos and apply them to your life and see if they work for you. That's what I'm going to do. So anyways, the first step is called right understanding. It's about understanding the reality, how it works. We may have some understanding, but if we still suffer, it means that we have the wrong understanding of reality. So the first step is about understanding how reality works. And once we understand how reality works, we can change our thinking. So the second step is called right view or right thinking or right intention. Right? Letting go of what we think is going to make us happy. My teacher said that, Tien Han said that, often it is our idea of happiness that is preventing us from being happy. Right? It's preventing us from being happy right now, because we think that we will be happy when some conditions are met. So right thinking, right understanding of reality, and right thinking, right intention. But then we need to move into the world, right? We need to interact with people. So we have right speech, and then right action, and right livelihood, right? How do we move into the world? For example, I wake up in the morning and I have a 4-year-old son. Some morning he doesn't wake up, he's tired. Doesn't want to wake up, doesn't want to brush his teeth, doesn't want to have breakfast, doesn't want to get dressed, doesn't want to go to school. There's a lot of no's, right? So I feel frustrated, all right? And maybe you think, oh, it's easy to be happy. You just have to let go. I let go of my son. I cannot. I have to find a way to move through those challenges to help him go to school, get his day started. Right? So how do we do that wisely with our speech, with our actions, with our livelihood? Right? So again, the first 2 steps, right understanding and right intention, we are cultivating wisdom. Then we move into the world with our speech, action, and livelihood. And those are ethics. What is the right way to go about it? And then finally, we have the right way to discipline our mind. So the sixth step is the right effort. The effort to let go of an unwholesome state, like cravings, attachments, desire, and the effort to cultivate uh, the, the right states, gratitude, compassion, so forth, understanding, and so forth. And then mindfulness, right mindfulness. What do we pay attention to? Do we pay attention to things that contribute to our cravings and attachments, or should we pay attention to things that cultivate, the right, uh, the right states of mind, right mindfulness? And then finally, the last step is right concentration, maintaining, our attention on what's wholesome instead of, maintaining our attention to what is unwholesome, what further our ignorance about reality, or cravings and attachments. So this is the blueprint, and we will go into details about all of the truth, all of the steps, and much further. And so far, I have looked into it, better understood it, because I learned about it before, but I didn't really understand it. And it's been very helpful, very insightful. And so if you're interested in this path to inner freedom, freedom from cravings, freedom from attachment, and so forth, if you're interested in inner peace, join me on this channel. And yeah, I hope you will like it. And as usual, please leave some comments if you have challenges or you have recommendations. But if you have challenges and questions, you can leave them and I will answer them in videos so that others can benefit them, if you're okay with that. And leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and see you soon. Thank you for watching.